Hello, everyone. Welcome to TOI Digital, your daily guide to Indian cricket. Beyond the Boundary is the name of the show, and we're going to be reviewing the Asia Cup final. We've got a power pack panel. Shriniwas Rao joins us from Mumbai, and joining us from NCR is Sahil Malhotra, and very soon we'll be joined by Gaurav Gupta as well. Srinivas, wanting to start off with you. India won the trophy. It was a foregone conclusion. But what happened after that was nothing short of bizarre, and it was farcical. Am I right in summing it up that way?
The whole tournament was fast. I've said this from day one. The whole tournament, everything about the tournament is farcical. Unfortunately, one just when one thought, obviously, tamasha always happens when India versus Pakistan. But you just somehow tend to believe that once cricket begins, cricket should take over, sport will take over, and kind of retain its priority over every other nonsense. Unfortunately, वो हुआ नहीं, and we've been watching cricket not since yesterday. Where Chandresh, we've seen cricket turn of the century, 1999, Kargil happened. People today's kids, I don't think understand what cross-border tensions were when Kargil had kind of taken place. But look at the maturity of cricketers turn of the century. We had some of the greatest names in Indian cricket around that time. Their job wasn't to go on the field and kind of participate in antics. Their job was never about going on the field and talking or speaking for fans or talking about the sentiments of whatever. मैं इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस के लिए ये करूंगा या मैं वहां से कोई बोल रहा है कि मैं पाकिस्तान आर्म फोर्सेस के लिए ये करूंगा. It was not about any of this. It was only your as a cricketer, your job was to go out on the field, play the game. सचिन तेंदुलकर से बड़ा खिलाड़ी इस दुनिया में, इस कंट्री में नहीं आया है. राहुल द्रविड़ से बड़ा प्लेयर इस कंट्री में नहीं आया है. सौरव गांगुली, वीवीएस लक्ष्मण, वीरेंद्र सहवाग, इन सबको देख लो. अपना सर नीचे रखते थे, जाते थे, खेलते थे. They did what they had to do. They had to play the game and maintain a certain sense of dignity as someone representing India. That's what they did. आजकल के लड़के, whether it is Surya Kumar Yadav, I am no fan. I am not at all a fan of what Mr. Surya Kumar Yadav thinks. He may think it is very cool to talk about that nonsense the way he does in press conferences, etc. I am not a fan at all of these antics. See, BCCI अपनी जगह है. बीसीसीआई को पॉलिटिक्स देखना है, बीसीसीआई को एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन देखना है, बीसीसीआई को सरकार की भी सुननी है, बीसीसीआई को आईसीसी की भी सुननी है, बीसीसीआई को सब कुछ करना है. बट लेकिन वो उनका काम है. तुम्हारा काम है क्रिकेट खेलना. तुम क्रिकेट खेलने के अलावा सब कुछ कर रहे हो. 20 मैच में तुमसे रन तो बन नहीं रहे. तुम क्रिकेट छोड़ के तुम जितने तुम्हारे रन नहीं बन रहे उससे ज्यादा तो तुम्हारे इंटरव्यू है. हालांकि मेरे को उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है. मेरे को एक चीज से मतलब है, what I saw and what I noticed, I'm not at all a fan of this. I hope cricket would have. I had hoped that once cricket began, it would take precedence over all the drama. Unfortunately, it did not happen. And just today, I tweeted next 3 Asia Cups also the dates have been finalized. So obviously, people will get used to this new idea of reality show on the field. And unfortunately, these are the times that we are living in.
Sahil, not many will remember that at the height of the 1971 war, some Indian players, Gavaskar, Farooq Engineer, Bishan Bedi, and some Pakistani players, including Zahir Abbas, were part of a rest of the world 11 in Australia at the height of the India-Bangladesh war. Surely, it can't reach that level because that was proper war. Uh, uh, is it the end of the India Park cricket story after what happened last night?
No, I think, see, the way we need to look at this is that we are living in the day and age where social media is dominating and influencing what these cricketers are doing on the park. What happened yesterday is a build-up of what was happening for the last couple of weeks. It wasn't something which happened overnight. And it all started with that handshake which happened, which people thought shouldn't have happened. And to correct that, all this madness happened. I think sense should have prevailed, and we should have. I think we should have ideally shielded Surya Kumar Yadav from press conferences but instead he was the only face talking to the media on multiple occasions during this Asia Cup. You could have well done with someone like a Sitanshu Kotak, players who were performing, someone like Abhishek Sharma. They could have easily dead batted the question with a sense of immaturity which was required, because those theatrics and those antics which were on display during the Asia Cup, I think we were kind of moving away from the cricketing bit. And yesterday, there were only two questions in the press conferences with regards to cricket. One was asked by TOI reporter Pratyush Raj. The other was asked by Vimal Kumar. Both were doing that game, and I clearly remember those questions. Vimal asked that there's no word on Kuldeep Yadav, Tilak Verma so far in the press conference, and we were well past 25 minutes in the PC. No one spoke about Tilak Verma. No one spoke about Surya Kumar Yadav's return with the bat, which KSR just mentioned. So when all these things take a backseat, and and what took over yesterday during the press conference, we were repeating. Surya was sounding like a broken record all the time. Bar bar एक ही सवाल, trophy नहीं लिया trophy, नहीं लिया trophy, नहीं दिया trophy, नहीं दिया trophy. Move on. Just like you should have moved on from that first handshake episode. Who's at fault? We'll come to Mohsin Naqvi later in the show. I'm sure we'll build up to what ruckus Mohsin Naqvi created last night. But that kind of doesn't give anyone a free hand in the BCCI or in Indian cricket to take those social media narratives for another ride, and that is what has been happening. We have been taking those narratives for a ride, and we are just riding those narratives just to show that we are still relevant in what's happening on social media. That's all I make of what has happened in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, there are a few comments from our subscribers. I head straight into that. We are just human says, I strongly disagree, and this is for Srinivas. I strongly disagree with KSR. The modern players are born and brought up on T20 and white ball cricket, which is expressive cricket. When you play that brand of cricket, then everything relates to it. So he's saying it's kosher. Whatever happened is kosher. You're on mute, Srini.
Who we are just human. Yeah, I mean, you are justified to have your view. I mean, you are free to have your own view on this. I will not. If you have a view on this, that it is the format that propels an individual to think in a certain manner, act in a certain manner, and I don't know. I mean, that's a view that you hold. I mean, I really can't do anything about it. Just the way you hold a view, I do. I think it's fair enough. I think it's an absolute fair thing that people should be allowed to hold a view. Do I hold a view that Surya Kumar Yadav holding a view on the larger impact of whatever happened? Is that justified? That's where I have a problem. That's my view on somebody's view of a certain thing. But that is because you're a public figure. Okay, you're a public figure, and every act of yours is in a public space. I am a fan of Surya Kumar Yadav, the batter. I am paying money to watch Surya Kumar Yadav bat. Now, this could be an Indian cricket fan, this could be a Pakistan cricket fan. Now, Mr. We are just human. I am a fan of Wasim Akram, the left arm bowler, and I think he's the greatest modern day pace bowler to have ever existed. Okay, that is what made me watch cricket. In the 90s, when I started to pick on the game, watching Wasim Akram gave me a sense of satisfaction in terms of what he brought to the table. Suddenly, because I have some patriotic view on India, my view of Wasim Akram doesn't change. He's still the bowler to me. Wasim Akram's entire existence for me as an icon was about his bowling. I never cared or I never bothered about what Wasim Akram's political view is, what Akram's business proposition is, what Akram's cultural, social view back in Pakistan is. It is none of my business. If you talk to me about Wasim Akram's bowling, I will follow it for what he brought to the table. The same goes for my fandom of Surya Kumar Yadav. He is a specialist T20 batter. In fact, the very reason that you mentioned is why he's leading India in the first place. He's captaining India. He is a batsman like no other in terms of how he can play his shots. Anybody who's watched him play knows that there is some special element that he brings to the bat. That is why I follow Surya Kumar Yadav. That is why I want to follow Surya Kumar Yadav. It doesn't matter whether I'm from India or from Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. आप ये सोचो कि आप एक क्रिकेटर को फॉलो कर रहे हो क्योंकि वो अच्छा खेलता है, तो जब आप इसलिए फॉलो कर रहे हो तो उस क्रिकेटर का एक इम्पोर्टेंस ये भी बनता है कि आप जाएं और आप अपनी क्रिकेट को बात करने दें, आप अपना मुंह खोल के ना बात करें. You allow your game to speak. That is the larger point that I'm trying to drive here. But as I said, you are entitled to your opinion, and so am I entitled to mine. And that's how we should continue to, I said, exist. I think that's exactly the way we should continue to exist.
We welcome Gigi as well in the chat. There's a welcome comment for Gigi from one of our subscribers. I'll just pull that up as well. But before that, Gigi, Warrior has a question. He says, if Surya had done a handshake before the start of Asia Cup with Mohsin Naqvi, then what happened during Asia Cup which led to such a strong stand by Team India? Is it because of public outrage?
Definitely because of public outrage. Firstly, big hi to all of you, and always a pleasure chatting cricket with all of you. Obviously, the outrage was huge, and there was a political hue to it as well, with political parties joining in and taking potshots at the Prime Minister directly for going back on his words on Operation Sindoor and so on and so forth, and lots of WhatsApp groups that all of us are part of. I think there was a lot of outrage on that in the common man. कि हम क्यों खेलने जा रहे हैं? Why are we playing Pakistan after what has happened? So I think and the anger was understandable to quite a to a great extent. So I think वो था और वो I think that had an effect. Eventually that did have a spillover impact because pictures of Surya Kumar Yadav from August 7th went viral of him shaking hands with Naqvi and with Salman Ali Aga. And I think that is when the BCCI realized that they need to do some sort of damage control and they need to completely change their stance on this whole issue. Otherwise, things are going to get ugly from here on, and it might have been even difficult for them to continue in the tournament, or at least play against Pakistan for any further. So I think that is why this whole this whole stance was taken, and I think the stance had its it had its it had its impact. Because if you notice after that, a lot of WhatsApp groups that I'm part of, people were proud of saying that I'm proud of Surya Kumar Yadav and I'm proud of the Indian team. They have decided not to do this and that. And I think वो जो 3 मैच हो पाए वो इसीलिए हो पाए क्योंकि ये stance इस तरह का लिया गया. But having said all of that, I think it was too strong a stance, and it eventually led to where we are today.
Okay, there's a question or rather a comment from Develop It, and he says, this Sunday, October 5th, India women versus Pakistan women boycott. Sahil, क्या करना है? Boycott है या नहीं है?
तो अभी मेरा और जीजी का बात हुआ इसके ऊपर बहुत लंबा, इंडिया वुमेन्स वाले को लेके. We are speaking this afternoon only about this fixture. What boycott? मतलब it doesn't work like this, right? You just can't do that. You wake up one morning, you say we'll boycott them, then you decide that no, we'll play them. You just can't happen like this.
अच्छा, 44 रुपए का सुपर चैट आया आयुष जिंदल से. ही सिंह, साहिल भाई, जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन, ट्रॉफी कब मिलेगी? ही इज स्ट्रेट टू द पॉइंट. 44 रुपीस का सवाल है तो देख के जवाब देना.
नहीं, हाँ, तो ये 44 रुपीस के सवाल का जवाब आपको गौरव गुप्ता की स्टोरी में मिलेगा. इट विल बी सून अप ऑन TOI. तो अभी मैं अपडेट दे ही देता हूँ क्योंकि अब पैसा खर्चा है 44 रुपए. ये तो पेपर के कॉस्ट
से सिर्फ 44 रुपए तक का ही जवाब देना.
हाँ, 44 का दूंगा. इसने 100 रुपए पहला भी दिया ना, तो 144 हो गया. एक इसका ऊपर भी 100 रुपए आया. तो अब no, so Gigi has done that story. We'll soon be publishing it. There's a ACC meeting tomorrow where India will be represented by former BCCI office bearer Ashish Shalar and current vice president, or as always, Mr. Rajiv Shukla. They will be attending that meeting, whether it happens or not. But as of now, it is scheduled. And India will have representation. They will be lodging their strong protest at that meeting. And if things don't work out और वो अभी भी ट्रॉफी को बांध के रखते हैं, तो आईसीसी का मीटिंग है इस साल के एंड में दुबई के अंदर ही, तो वहां पे मुद्दा उठाया जाएगा. पर ये ट्रॉफी का भी एक मिशन हो जाएगा. इसके ऊपर एक बॉलीवुड मूवी भी बन सकता है. अक्षय कुमार साहब को आप साइन कर सकते हो कि ट्रॉफी अब वापस लेके आना है. आपको मोहसिन नकवी के चंगुल से ट्रॉफी आना है.
एक ट्रॉफी तो नकवी का भी बनता ही है. नकवी का भी एक तो ट्रॉफी बनता ही है.
एक हमारे रघु भाई को बोलो, अभी वो जीजी ने बहुत अच्छा स्टार्ट किया है ना, द रियल जीजी नहीं मतलब इंडिया वाले जीजी ने, कि वो सपोर्ट स्टाफ.
अरे हमारे जीजी भी इंडिया वाले ही है.
नहीं मतलब इंडियन क्रिकेट वाले की वो बहुत क्रेजी उन्होंने स्टार्ट किया. आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर ऑल ऑफ यू हैव सीन रघु का स्पीच वाज ब्रिलियंट इन द चेंज रूम. सो अब ऐसा एक नकवी साहब को भी इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर का मेडल दे दो. उनसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट कल के मैच में किसी ने नहीं किया जो उनका.
एक्चुअली रॉफ को भी ट्रॉफी दे सकते हैं. हैरिस रॉफ को. He has been the player of the match yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Half century
Uh,
in 22 balls.
yeah. Ayush Jindal ka one more super chat is there, and that is for 100 rupees. And this is for Srini. He says, Srini, I feel the BCCI has major role in what has happened on field, as players are just dummies, as they don't want abusers for them and their families. This is the flip side of the social media thing. You're on mute, Srini.
Yeah. One second. I'm just reading the question again. The BCCI has a major role in what has happened on the field, as players are just dummies, as they don't want abuses for them and their families. Okay, I'll consider the latter part of this later. You know, tell me something. Has the BCCI, did the BCCI at any point ask any Indian cricketer to sit in a press conference and thump your chest and say something? Has the BCCI asked any cricketer, एक काम करो, आप अपना पूरा फीस आर्म फोर्सेस को दे दो? बीसीसीआई ने कुछ बोला है तुमको करने को? मैं तो बीसीसीआई जो ठीक ठाक ट्रैक करता हूँ, या साहिल करता है, गौरव गुप्ता करता है, यहाँ सब लोग बीसीसीआई ट्रैक करते हैं. मुझे तो नहीं लगता कि बीसीसीआई हैज आस्क्ड एनी क्रिकेटर to go out and create any sort of tamasha. This is like BCCI. ये आजकल वो हो गया ना, वो शॉपर स्टॉप का कूपन, डिस्काउंट कूपन कार्ड आता है ना, आपको जब यूज करना है कर लिए, जब नहीं यूज करना है तब नहीं यूज किए. वो बीसीसीआई ऐसे बन गया. गाली मारना है तो बीसीसीआई का कार्ड दिखा दिया, अच्छी बात करनी है बीसीसीआई का कार्ड दिखा दिया. मेरे ऊपर है, मैं कब बीसीसीआई को यूज कर दूँ. सो बीसीसीआई ने इन क्रिकेटर्स को कुछ नहीं बोला. बीसीसीआई ने इनको बोला कि तुम जाओ रन बनाओ. ये भाई साहब जो है हमारे कप्तान, इन्होंने रन बनाने के अलावा सब कुछ किया. ठीक है, इनको बोला गया था तो रन बनाओ जाकर. तो तुम्हारा प्राइमरी रिस्क, अगर तुमको ये सब बोला गया तो तुमको ये भी बोला गया था ना कि रन बनाओ, तो रन क्यों नहीं बनाए तुम? तो एनीवे, कट अ लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, यहाँ पे ना हर किसी को एक अर्ज है, हर किसी को एक क्या कहूँ मैं, लाइक एक घाई में है कि मैं हीरो बन जाऊँ आज रात. कुछ भी करके टुनाइट्स मोमेंट शुड बी माय मोमेंट. टुमारो मॉर्निंग आई शुड कैपिटलाइज इट ऑन सोशल मीडिया. आज रात को मैं रन नहीं बना पाया तो कोई बात नहीं, एक कैच ले लिया. एक कैच, मैंने एक कैच लेके वर्ल्ड कप जिता दिया इंडिया को, वो मेरा मोमेंट हो गया. उसके बाद मैंने कुछ एंटिक्स कर लिए, वो मेरा मोमेंट हो गया. मैंने कैमरा के सामने आके कुछ बहुत ही कूल ड्यूड लैंग्वेज में कुछ बात कर लिया, मैं बड़ा कूल हो गया. कुछ नहीं तो मैंने मोहसिन नकवी को और पाकिस्तान को 4 गाली दे दी, मैं बहुत कूल हो गया. या फिर मैंने आर्म फोर्सेस को पैसे दे दिए मेरे मैच फी, तो मैं बहुत कूल हो गया. भाई एक काम करेगा, तेरे को इतना शौक है ना, तेरा आईपीएल का 1 साल का जो मैच फी है ना वो दे आर्म फोर्सेस को. ये नहीं, तेरा आईपीएल का 1 साल का सैलरी है ना वो दे आर्म फोर्सेस को, ये मत दे. तो ये सब है ना, ये कूल ड्यूड्स हैं आजकल के, जो I have done this, I have done that, and then you milk it. The next day you kind of continue milking it on Instagram, on Twitter, and you have these paid fans and paid followers who kind of then, अरे देखा cricketer हो तो ऐसा हो, kind of nonsense. So this has been on, this jingoism has been on for quite some time now. This is not an overnight phenomenon. This is not an overnight phenomenon. We all know, everybody in the room knows this has been building up for a while now. And now I'll come back to the second half of the question. Just dummies that they don't want abuses for them and their families. Boss, abuses are reserved for, when do we see abuses related to cricket? When India plays a high profile match in a high profile tournament and they end up, losing a game that this country expected you to win, that public sentiment pours out. In 2007, Chandresh, you were covering the World Cup in the West Indies when India lost in the first round itself. हम बाहर निकल गए. वो क्रिकेटर्स जब वापस इंडिया आए, तुमको भी याद है कैसे उनको रिसीव किया गया था एयरपोर्ट पे. कुछ क्रिकेटर्स तो बेचारे वो इंडिया वापस भी नहीं आए, वो तो वाया जाके वापस आए. पब्लिक एंगर है, पब्लिक सेंटिमेंट है. तो ये एक है जो भी, ये भी नहीं होना चाहिए कायदे से, बट यहाँ पे होता है कि पब्लिक लूजेस इट, पब्लिक अब्यूजेस क्रिकेटर्स, व्हिच इज अनफेयर एट एनी पॉइंट. बट यहाँ पे आपको कोई कुछ नहीं बोलने वाला. आपको सिर्फ यही बोला गया था कि आप जाके रन बनाओ. आपने वहाँ रन बनाने के अलावा सब करके आए हो.
ये मुझे सिर्फ वो शोले का डायलॉग आ रहा है कि तुमने क्या सोचा, सरदार खुश होगा शाबाशी देगा, मतलब एज एन वो वाला हिसाब हो गया कि मतलब that kind of an attitude was there. रविशंकर कुमार as a point.
तो अगर वही बात है तो मैं क्लैरिफाई कर दूं, क्योंकि फिलहाल तो मैं रमेश सिप्पी से कम नहीं हूँ, तो सरदार खुश नहीं हुए हैं और सरदार शाबाशी देने भी नहीं वाले।
ये कमेंट आया है फ्रॉम रविशंकर कुमार एंड जीजी आई वांट यू टू रिप्लाई सलमान आगा लुक मोर मैच्योर देन सूर्य कुमार यादव इन द पोस्ट मैच प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस.
Yeah, Salman Aga looked more mature, but it depends on which way you look at it. I mean, Surya is parroting a lot of stuff that I think, I still believe has been told to him to sort of maintain a certain stance, and that is what he's doing. Salman Aga is doing what PCB is saying, what PCB wants him to say. ठीक है ना. तो हाँ, एक चीज मैं सलमान आगा की सॉर्ट मैं मान सकता हूँ कि उन्होंने ये बोला कि यू डिसरिस्पेक्टिंग द गेम, बट देन अगर आप डिसरिस्पेक्टिंग द गेम की बात कर रहे हैं कि इंडियन टीम बाय नॉट एक्सेप्टिंग द ट्रॉफी और डूइंग व्हाटएवर दे डिड इन द एशिया कप, दे डिसरिस्पेक्टेड द गेम. तो व्हाट डिड पाकिस्तान, हाउ डिड हिज टीम बिहेव अगेंस्ट इंडिया इन दैट मैच? वो भी तो गालियां निकाल रहे थे ना, मतलब जो कि हम यहाँ वो भी नहीं कर सकते, मेंशन भी नहीं कर सकते टू द इंडियन टीम. आई मीन अभिषेक शर्मा हिमसेल्फ सेड दैट देयर वर अब्यूजेस डायरेक्टेड एट हिम बाय द पाकिस्तान प्लेयर्स व्हिच वेरी पर्सनल, यू नो, एंड आई मीन दे वर रियली सॉर्ट ऑफ गनिंग फॉर द इंडियन प्लेयर्स इन दैट मैच. ठीक है, वो सेकंड वाला मैच आई थिंक. और उसके बाद में नकवी ने जो किया, जो ट्वीट किया उन्होंने, थैंकफुली देवजीत साई का नहीं है ट्विटर पे, तो वो ट्वीट नहीं करते, वो ट्वीट किया उन्होंने वो उसका वो जो रोनाल्डो का फोटो विद दिस थिंग, and what Rauf did was that something that you want to see? I mean, if he's saying that, तो वो भी तो disrespecting the game है. So there has been disrespecting the game from both the sides, you know, and that has happened. I agree, India started it, we started it, you know, by not shaking hands and all that, but then they took it to a different level with their PCB and ACC chairman doing it, which is just doesn't justify his stature. तो कोई तो भाई बोलता कि यू नो बड़प्पन में बोलता, अगर नकवी ये बोलता चलो कोई बात नहीं, if you guys have an issue with him, with me, I'm going to step aside from the stage, let India enjoy their moment, and I mean he would have come out taller in the whole this thing. अभी वो क्या बच्चों वाली बात कर दी उसने बिल्कुल कि मेरी टॉफी है तो मैं ही खाऊंगा, मैं ही लेके जाऊंगा, मैं ही दूंगा, नहीं तो कोई नहीं देगा. और
Gigi, 2022 when Jai Shah was the ACC president, he didn't turn up for the final. The Sri Lankan cricket president presented the trophy to the Sri Lanka captain. 2023 when Jai Shah was the ACC president, Jai Shah presented the trophy to Rohit Sharma. So in the last two editions that we have seen in the recent years, 22 Jai Shah skipped, 23 he was present, India was in the final, he presented the trophy to Rohit Sharma. So it has happened in the past.
But did Jai Shah and De Silva, the Sri Lankan cricket president, did they sort of go on social media and talk about what happened in the war according to them, and you know, stuff like that?
Yeah, Jai Shah is an apolitical person, so he's not really interested in all these things.
नहीं मतलब यू हैव टू ऑल्सो बिहेव लाइक यू नो, जो आपकी पोस्ट है उसको आपको थोड़ा सा जस्टिफाई, आई मीन सी यू डू दैट एंड देन यू एक्सपेक्ट द इंडियन टीम को मैं जाऊंगा, मतलब सब लोग बहुत खुश हो जाएंगे नकवी के साथ फोटो. क्या सोच रहा है नकवी, मतलब वो ये सब करके और फिर वो मंडे को मैं फोटो ट्वीट करूंगा, ये सब करूंगा रोनाल्डो का कि 6 प्लेन ये वो, और ट्यूसडे को मैं उनको ट्रॉफी दूंगा. इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट यार. He also has behaved very immaturely, and then it has evoked a certain response, you know. And then to make it worse, he has again sort of stuck to this immature stance by not stepping aside. वो करता तो शायद, as I said, he would have only come out, you know, the better person and the more with more stature and with the more class and dignity. But वो शायद नहीं है उनमें, और वो it is just basically everybody's fault. You know, I have been maintaining from day one, this is a fault from both. This is you cannot point fingers and say India सही है, Pakistan सही है. दोनों गलत है. Both have been extremely you know, wrong in their attitude in this Asia Cup, and I don't know at this rate how do we even see an India-Pakistan encounter on October 5th between India, the women's teams of both the nations, and going forward in men's cricket.
Okay, Manikpreet Singh बार सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, and Sahil, I want you to reply. Shake hands with PCB chief in the beginning. Play cricket with them. Yeah, Srini.
One thing, वो जो गौरव बोला ना कि you don't even know whether women's में India Pakistan will, you know what is the वो बोला तो मेरे को क्लिक हुआ. You know what is the unfortunate part? Women's cricket मैच को रोक देंगे. देखो अभी नहीं करेंगे, हम नहीं खेलेंगे बेचारे for some other reason, क्योंकि women's cricket वैसे भी बिकने नहीं वाली है, वो वैसे भी बिकने नहीं वाली है, तमाशे के कारण शायद ज्यादा बिक जाए. तो ये सारा गुस्सा विमेंस क्रिकेट में निकालेंगे और बोलेंगे देखो हम नहीं खेल रहे पाकिस्तान. हालांकि उससे कोई मायने नहीं रखते हैं, पर कायदे है मेंस क्रिकेट.
You mean the PCB or this thing? PCB will say.
हो सकता है दोनों बोल दें कि नहीं खेलना.
So then actually that is better if both the countries say, तो at least that problem of 2 points are out of the window.
Yeah, but I'm saying that वहाँ पे ब्रॉडकास्टर होने नहीं वाला. वहाँ पे
No,
ब्रॉडकास्टर
correct,
रोने
correct,
नहीं
correct.
वाला,
Yeah,
बिकॉज वहाँ
yeah,
पे
yeah.
स्पॉन्सर रोने नहीं वाला, वहाँ पे
Hmm.
क्रिकेटर रोने नहीं वाला कि मेरे को मैच फीस नहीं मिल रहे हैं या पेरेंट्स फी नहीं मिल रही, क्योंकि स्टेक्स आर सो लो। बेचारी लड़कियां सफर करेंगी
Very
ना,
true.
वहाँ पे सिर्फ
Very
लड़कियां
true. Very
सफर
true.
करेंगी,
Yeah,
वहाँ पे
yeah,
किसी
yeah,
को कोई
absolutely.
पूछने नहीं वाला। जहाँ
बिल्कुल,
पूछना
बिल्कुल.
है, वेयर द स्टेक्स आर हाई, वेयर द टेक अवे इज हाई, वहाँ तुम
Yeah,
तमाशा मत करो, वहाँ चुपचाप क्रिकेट खेलो
चुपचाप
और
क्रिकेट
पैसे
खेलो,
बनाओ
बिल्कुल.
और
Very true, very true.
लाइन
Very
यहाँ पे
true.
ड्रॉप
Which
कर दो।
means in the men's 2026 World Cup, we can very well see them play again, each other again in the
Yeah.
T26 World Cup.
Yeah,
At the
I
same
just tweeted
venue.
today. I put out the next three Asia Cups ka dates. Actually, Sahil had mentioned it earlier in one of his stories, but I just tweeted today. I have put the next three Asia Cup dates. It's out there. More dates, more more or less.
नहीं नहीं
Every cricket board has signed on it.
नहीं नहीं, बट द फनी पार्ट इज दैट उसमें वेन्यू इंडिया पाकिस्तान सब लिखा हुआ है, सीधा यूएई लिख देते तो बेटर होता।
That is another tragedy. This region is completely cursed, basically. Imagine यूरो हो रहा है एशिया में because बेल्जियम और जर्मनी की नहीं बनती है, होता है ये?
Okay, Manik Preet Singh का सवाल है, he says shake hands with PCB chief in the beginning, play cricket with them, refuse to shake hands later, didn't accept trophy from his hands, help PCB earn 500 crore rupees, PR made Desh Bhakti for camera. Sahil, what's your take?
No, I think we have spoken a lot on this कि क्या होना चाहिए था, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए था। वो हमारा एक sensible observation है from the sidelines. I don't know what transpired in that dressing room, who asked who to do what, or whether it was एक अपना individual call. But I think it's out there now. The more we repeat, we'll sound like that broken record again कि मतलब क्या होना चाहिए था, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए था। I think मुद्दे की बात यह है कि कल जो मोहसिन नकवी ने करा, that was unbecoming of a person who is leading a body which is represented by not just one nation, but you are basically representing an entire continent. So that is unbecoming, and not just the ACC should take note, but I think the ICC should take a strong note of this. And you know, all these things happening, drama, antics, theatrics, this is not required. This is not required. And yeah, just imagine. I'm just taking you back to that 2022 and 2023 year, Chandresh. Had Jay Shah been involved in a situation like this, and had he done something remotely close to what Mohsin Naqvi had done, आप समझो इस टाइम पे इंग्लैंड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, साउथ अफ्रीका, वहाँ के जो फ्लैग बियरर्स ऑफ जर्नलिज्म एंड क्रिकेट रिपोर्टिंग है, वो अभी तक तो पूरा दे वुड हैव बीन अप इन आर्म्स। और अभी एवरीवन इज लाइक सेइंग कि इट वाज वेरी टॉक्सिक, इट वाज दिस, इट वाज दैट। अरे कॉल आउट व्हाट रॉन्ग हैपेंड यार। ये टॉक्सिक वॉक्सिक तो हमने भी देखा है क्या हुआ है क्या नहीं हुआ। बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग, जस्ट फ्लिप द रोल्स, पुट जय शाह इन नकवी शूज एंड जस्ट इमेजिन हिम डूइंग व्हाट नकवी डिड यस्टरडे। क्या भाई, ये क्या गुंडागर्दी था क्या कि मतलब मेरा बैट मेरी बैटिंग, बैट लेके चले गए आप बैटिंग करके, ये क्या बात हुआ? मतलब ट्रॉफी लेके चले गए, दैट वाज द फर्स्ट। मतलब ये तो मजाक कर दिया आपने यार बिल्कुल।
Srini, you're
Okay,
on mute.
so so there is a precedence to something like this. Not exactly same context. In 2015, the Bangladesh guy was the president of
Mustafa Kamal.
the ICC. Yeah, he was the president of ICC, and he was there at the Melbourne Cricket Ground where
He was
India
not
and
allowed to present. By Srinivasan.
where New Zealand and Australia were playing the final. He came, वो बेचारा पूरा, he wore his best suit. He said आज तो बढ़िया आएगा, क्या फर्क पड़ता कौन जीता, खाना रहा ट्रॉफी तो मैं दूंगा, क्योंकि the chairman of the ICC at that point was under all sorts of controversies back home because of the IPL. I'm talking about Mohsin Srinivasan. So वो वहाँ इनिशियली वो जाने नहीं वाले थे श्रीनिवासन साहब वहाँ पे, तो इनको लगा, बांग्लादेश के प्रेसिडेंट को इनको लगा कि ट्रॉफी तो मैं ही दूंगा। वो वहाँ गए और लास्ट मिनट पे श्रीनिवासन साहब अपीयर होते हैं, मतलब ऑस्ट्रेलिया में एमसीजी में, कहते हैं ट्रॉफी तो मैं दे रहा हूँ, चेयरमैन मैं हूँ, ट्रॉफी मैं दे रहा हूँ। सो दैट गाय वेंट अवे, ही वेंट अवे, लॉक्ड हिमसेल्फ इन द रूम एंड डिड नॉट कम आउट। ही सेड आई फील वेरी इंसल्टेड दिस, बट अपने साथ ट्रॉफी लेके नहीं भागा वो।
Kamal.
Just to
Pranit
add
ka,
here, Chandresh bhai, just to add here, earlier this year during the Champions Trophy with
yeah, they were not.
both me and Gigi covered, PCB were the official hosts. Half the tournament was played in Pakistan, but Naqvi साहब तो दुबई में आए नहीं फाइनल प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए तब। अगर उनको ट्रॉफी देने का इतना चस्का था कि एसीसी में मैं ट्रॉफी दूंगा, तो आप जब होस्ट नेशन थे तब क्यों नहीं आए? तब आपने बोला मेरा कमिटमेंट है, मेरे को कुछ पॉलिटिकल कमिटमेंट है, ये है वो है।
मैं आई थिंक वो
अलग
बीमार थे।
नहीं, उन्होंने कुछ पॉलिटिकल कमिटमेंट बोला उस टाइम पे, मुझे अच्छे से याद है। बीमारी का हवाला बाद में हो सकता है दिया हो, बट आप तब होस्ट थे, आपने पूरा लड़ाई लड़ा कि सारे मैचेस पाकिस्तान में हो, इंडिया भी पाकिस्तान आए, आपने वीजा फ्री में बांटे ऐसे कि वीजा खोल दिया आपने इंडियंस के लिए, आप इतने वेलकमिंग थे, बिग ब्रदर थे। बट क्लियरली आपके आपके दिल में हेट्रेट था ना, कि आपने देखा कि इंडिया जीत गई तो मैं वो करीब से नहीं देख सकता। और सेम नैरेटिव आपका कल था, यू जस्ट कुडंट सी इंडिया होल्डिंग द ट्रॉफी, so you took away the trophy. It's as simple as that.
Praneeth has a super chat for 40 rupees. It's his opinion. He says, I think Srini is more hurt than Pakistanis.
Okay, but hurt on what?
No,
For losing or what?
No, but whatever happened yesterday.
As a Pakistan, like, come on, I mean, you know, if
There's
I
no
don't
place
know
for
what
nuance now in India. There's no place for
I
nuance
don't
in
know.
India.
Yeah, but I don't know what is, how can it be more hurtful than you know, Sunil? I think was it Sunil Gavaskar who said this? I don't know who said it. Like, you know, entire Pakistan, 99% of Pakistan had the confidence they will win the tournament.
Yeah,
1% did not have that confidence, and then 1% was the team only.
yeah.
बाकी सबको मतलब है, बाकी सबको लग रहा है कि वो जीत जाएंगे, ठीक है. Now after 117 for 2, okay, in 12 overs, 118 for 2 in 12, you go on to lose the remaining 8 wickets in 35 runs. Then you end on the mat at for 20 for 3 or something, and from there you allow the middle order to come back and, you know, comfortably win the game. I don't think anybody can be more hurt than the Pakistanis. But I don't know what exactly are people trying to, you know, as far as cricket is concerned, I have said this before Asia Cup also. In fact, I had written a piece in Times of India. You stop this whole India-Pakistan rivalry nonsense. There is no rivalry anymore. That rivalry is dead. There is no rivalry. इंडिया के आजू बाजू नहीं आता है पाकिस्तान. किस rivalry आप किस rivalry की बात कर रहे हो? There is no rivalry that exists. Number 2, I said that we had no business playing this tournament. If we really respect what has happened in India, you know, the Pahalgam attacks, everything, if we really were concerned about this, we had no business playing a tournament like this. Why did we go and play? Now, if you have agreed to play, then play by the book. तुम ये जो हरकत करते हो ना, ये चाहे मोहसिन नकवी ट्रॉफी लेके भाग गया या सूर्य कुमार यादव प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कुछ बोला, तुम ये फीफा टूर्नामेंट में करके दिखाओ, या आईओसी में, ओलंपिक्स में तुम खड़े रहो. ये जो बोलते हैं ना, ये हर दूसरा आदमी आके खड़े होके बोलता है ना, से समथिंग फॉर पैलेस्टीन. तुम एक आईओसी टूर्नामेंट में खड़े रह के बोलो, तुम एक फीफा टूर्नामेंट में कोई टी शर्ट, तुम वो प्लेयर स्कोर करता है तो जर्सी निकालता है ना, वो जर्सी निकाल के कुछ लिखो बैनर, और तुम बैन नहीं हुए तो मेरा नाम बदल देना. ये तमाशा जो है ना, ये सिर्फ यहाँ पे चलता है, बाहर नहीं चलता है तमाशा. If you are agreeing to play a professional tournament, you stick to the spirit and you stick to the rule, or don't play. Who asked you to play? Who asked you to play this tournament? अच्छा, I'll pose this question to Mohsin Naqvi. देखो, इतना प्रोटेस्ट करने का शौक है ना कि मैं ये नहीं करूंगा, इंडिया ने ये गलत किया है, तो एक काम करना, तेरे को इतना प्रोटेस्ट करने का शौक है तो तू टूर्नामेंट में अपीयरेंस फी मत ले, पैसा मत ले, बजो बोल कि मैं आउट ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट आई विल नॉट टेक द मनी फ्रॉम एशिया कप. ये तो नहीं बोल रहा तू, बोल देना तेरे को अगर इतना एशिया कप से प्रॉब्लम है. और रही बात सूर्य कुमार यादव की, वो मैंने पहले भी जवाब दे चुका हूँ. तेरे को क्या बोला गया था, बीसीसीआई ने तेरे को क्या बोला, जा और रन बना. तूने रन बनाने के अलावा सब कुछ किया. कल अगर तिलक वो हाफ सेंचुरी नहीं मारता, तुम नहीं जीते थे ये मैच. अगर तिलक और शिवम दुबे वो इनिंग्स नहीं खेलते कल, तो तुम नहीं जीत रहे थे. और तुम अगर नहीं जीतते ना, तो ये आज इतनी जो नौटंकी कर रहे हैं ना, आधे लोग कहाँ घुस के बैठे होते हैं हमको पता नहीं चल रहा होता. स्पोर्ट है वो, स्पोर्ट है वो. टेलीविजन चैनल का न्यूज एंकर नहीं है वहाँ पे, तो स्पोर्ट है. वहाँ पे सही में बॉल गिरती है, सही में 140-150 पे बॉल आती है, उसको फेस करना है तुमको, उसको फेस करके रन बनाने हैं तुम वो कर लो, बहुत है. बाकी जो बड़ी बड़ी बातें हैं उसकी उसकी तो अर्नब गोस्वामी बैठा है, तुम रन बनाओ यार। क्या यार,
Ayush
इतनी
Jin,
छोटी सी बात है, समझ में नहीं आती।
Ayush Jindal has sent one more super chat. Gigi, this question is for you. He says, why didn't Gigi attend a PC in the whole Asia Cup? It's quite fair. He didn't. He was not present. He didn't come for any press conference.
No.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, so I think it was a wise call, maybe because of the fact that he's also somebody who wears his patriotism on his sleeve, and he can be extremely sort of charged up in press conferences. और ये जिस तरह की situation थी, I'm sure. Imagine Pakistani journalists asking all sorts of questions to Gautam Gambhir. That would have really sort of been another.
In fact, the Pakistani and Indian journalists had a tiff in the Pakistan press conference.
Yeah, yesterday night, right?
Last night, yeah.
हाँ last night हाँ वो मैंने देखा वो थोड़ा सा वो I mean I think because the Pakistani media person complimented the Pakistani media manager for allowing the Indian journalists to ask questions in their
Yeah.
press conference, whereas but then I'm told that Maulen was taking questions from the Pakistani reporters
Because I
in
think
the
he didn't
earlier press
recognize that they are
conferences.
Pakistani journalists.
Sorry.
Because I think Maulin did not recognize that they are Pakistani journalists.
नहीं, I don't think so.
नहीं
I think
मॉलिन
he was
हैज
open to the
बीन
idea of.
गिविंग, वो
He was
सवाल दे
open
रहा
to the
है,
idea of.
वो
हाँ,
दे रहा है,
but
पहले भी दिया।
see, now I was seeing that press conference सूर्या वाला, और जो क्वेश्चन पाकिस्तानी जर्नलिस्ट ने पूछा, उसने सीधा मतलब सूर्या को लिटरली मतलब ये बोल दिया कि आप जो है गुनहगार हैं और अब आप पे दफा 302, 303, 304 लगने वाला है। ठीक है, आप स्पोर्ट्समैन स्पिरिट को आपने खत्म कर दिया, आपने यार डोंट कंक्लूड इन योर आंसर ना, लेट हिम आंसर, यू से दैट there is a feeling, there is an allegation, there's a way to frame the question instead of straight away पत्थर मार के आप यार he's a rival, already there's so much tension around, and then you're asking question in a very sort of a offensive tone and sort of a very attacking tone. So I think वो थोड़ा सा
but there were Indian journalists who told Salman Aga that India से 3-0 हार गए, 8-0 हार गए, आप लोग
वो
कुछ एनालाइज
जर्नलिस्ट
करते
भाई,
हो?
वो जिस जर्नलिस्ट ने पूछा उसको शत शत प्रणाम है, उसके आगे मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकता, उसके बारे में बात करना फिजूल है। ठीक है, सो इट आई मीन दैट इज अगेन अ वेरी सिली वे ऑफ आस्किंग अ क्वेश्चन कि अरे आप तो बांग्लादेश और ओमान को हराते हैं, आप इंडिया के साथ में तो 3-0 हो गया। एंड आई थॉट सलमान आगा गिव अ ब्यूटीफुल आंसर सेइंग दैट हर एक टीम का एक एरा होता है भाई, हम इस एरा में हार रहे हैं, 80s और 90s में जो है पाकिस्तान टीम वुड बीट इंडिया। ठीक है, आगे जाके हमारा भी एरा आएगा, हम उस एरा में हराएंगे। सो that is a completely, I agree with that observation. That's a purely cricketing observation. That can happen tomorrow. For the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, the Indian team has clearly been the stronger team. For the last 20 years, perhaps, जब से वीरेंद्र सहवाग आए मेरे हिसाब से इंडियन टीम में, तो and then Dhoni and so on and so forth. तो शिखर धवन, रोहित शर्मा, विराट कोहली, the whole white ball game ours has gone to a different level altogether now with Abhishek Sharma also coming in, and they are nowhere in comparison, but that doesn't mean you disrespect the opposition. I mean your media also. I don't remember West Indies media or the Aussie media of that time sort of completely rubbishing the opponents. The Aussie team would be a bit arrogant at times, but for our media to ask some questions in such a stupid manner is definitely not on.
I agree on Shikhar Dhawan. Anyways, Sahil, question super chat now from Praneeth, 100 rupees super chat. He says Surya and team management has done the correct thing not to shake hands with Pakistan players. You guys be apologetic to Pakistani shameless.
No, we are not apologetic to anyone. We are just giving you what could have been the logical thing to do. It wouldn't have been playing to the gallery, which actually has happened in the last 3 weeks. What showmanship हुई है, playing to the gallery, headlines, quotes, humor, forced humor, satire, forced satire, all that is fine. But when you're walking that line where patriotism, nationalism, and I don't want to use that word, but looking stupid. There was a very thin line, and that line was crossed far too often. It shouldn't have been done, and I completely agree. No matter, I understand where GG is coming from कि गौतम को लेके आते तो और फायरी हो जाते मैटर्स, और ये आप सबको याद होगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी हुआ था. For a very long time during the Australia tour, Border Gavaskar Trophy, Gautam wasn't allowed to come. Not allowed, allowed is the wrong word, but wasn't sent for press conferences because he was needled once by a Aussie journalist with regards to former cricketers का quote. I think Bombay में कुछ हुआ था departure press conference में where Gambhir gave it back to a ex-Australian cricketer, and उसके बाद से I think for 3 tests he didn't come for any press conference before the Sydney test where Rohit was dropped. So वो भी हो सकता था, but I think थोड़ा variety आप रखते ना, थोड़ा easy रहता. अब एक tournament के अंदर you are seeing Surya Kumar Yadav saying the same thing over and over again. I didn't find it making sense. You could have given variety. थोड़ा फ्रेश ब्लड लाते हैं. वरुण चक्रवर्ती आया, रिफ्रेशिंग था यार, सिर्फ क्रिकेट की बात हुई. कुलदीप आया, कुलदीप स्पोक क्रिकेट. Mone Mokal came, he spoke cricket, he explained Jasprit Bumrah's role. एक perspective different होता है. You kind of do
Ryan
that.
Tendulkar also came.
Ryan Tendulkar, I think hands down मैं लिख के देने को तैयार हूँ. He is the best person to be in a press conference. वो आपको 11 लिख के दे देगा. वो 11 लिख के दे देगा. उसको पॉलिटिकल करेक्ट होना आता ही नहीं है. वो टेस्ट मैच से पहले जब इंग्लैंड में पीसी में आता था, आपको दिमाग दौड़ाना ही नहीं था. रायन टेंडुलकर जाने में अनजाने में वो भला आदमी है, सच्चा आदमी है. उसको जैसे सितांशु कोटक आएंगे तो इधर उधर फिरा के आपको गोल गोल घुमाते रहेंगे. रायन टेंडुलकर सीधा साफ सुथरा आदमी है. वो आपको पूरा 11 दे देता है. वो बहुत
isn't it strange that सितांशु कोटक जब बैटिंग करते थे वो दाएं बाएं घुमाते नहीं थे, सीधे खेलते थे. बट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में दाएं बाएं घुमाते हैं.
पूरा गोल 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 गोल. सितांशु कोटक की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के स्टार्ट में आपको लगेगा ये खेल रहा है. जब तक पीसी एंड होगा तो लगेगा वही ना, वो चक दे इंडिया के अंदर ये राइट मारेगा, लेफ्ट मारेगा, याला ये तो सीधा मारेगा. तो कोटक की पीसी में आप गेस वर्क करते रहो क्या चालू है.
Ashish Chandilia has a question for you, Srini. He says, Kesar sir, if Sachin, VVS Lakshman maintained integrity of game, then Wasim, Zaheer, Imran also followed too. But it all actually started with Fahim Ashraf and Abrar Ahmed, not Surya shaking hand at start of Asia Cup. You know, basically what Fahim Ashraf and Abrar posted on their Instagram or their Twitter during Operation Sindhu.
एक बात मेरे को बताओ. Thanks for asking this question. ये फहीम अशरफ या अबरार और साहिबजादा वगैरह, why are they what they did? They obviously insulted India, right? Why do all of us know what they did? Why do we all know what they have done? Why are they everywhere? हमको पता है, हम सबको पता है उन लोगों ने क्या किया, right? किसी ने बैट को गनशीट में दिखाया, किसी ने कुछ इशारा किया, किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया. हम सबको ये क्यों पता है? हम सबको ये इसलिए पता है because we have all seen him live on television, right, doing this, whereas we should have been watching cricket. Now, take that same line of thought forward. Who gave them the opportunity to do this? We. अगर हम खेलते नहीं तो उनको ये मौका प्लेटफॉर्म मिलता ही नहीं. उनको वो प्लेटफॉर्म मिलता ही नहीं. They would have had no such opportunity to do anything. They would still be stuck inside there wherever they come from. They would have been living there with nobody asking them or nobody giving them any importance. You, as in we, by agreeing to participate in this tournament, what have we done? We said, come, we'll give you the platform to do all this nonsense. You've given them the platform. Now they're doing all that nonsense. And God forbid, yesterday had you lost, the same nonsense would have gone to the next level. And you would have been paying 100 rupees more to hear an abuse from me. The point is, I'm saying all this while, I'm just saying one thing. Why give these idiots an opportunity? I don't understand. Why give somebody has the potential to misbehave, right? Why are you giving them an opportunity in the first place? That is where I think we were wrong. That is where I think, see, for example, I had said this in my previous show that I disagreed with the whole idea of not giving a handshake. Why? Because it's a petty thing and you are making it into a controversy. It's a petty thing. Battles are not fought with such pettiness. It was a petty thing that unnecessarily got you onto a global stage and made you look like, oh my god. उससे अच्छा तुम हाथ मिला लेते ना, तुम बड़े दिखते. यार देखो, ये तो don't look at the other guy in the eye, just look the other way around and offer a handshake and move on, man. Just move on. But by not shaking hands, you gave them a stupid opportunity to talk about it. This is exactly what I've been trying to point out. You are giving them an opportunity to showcase their stupidities. That's it. You don't give them an opportunity. कोई पूछेगा ही नहीं.
दाल खिचड़ी का सवाल आया 400 रुपए का. 400 रुपए का दाल खिचड़ी तो बहुत महंगा होता है. But he says, boss, if the Pak players from 70s generation played in the age of social media, उनको भी ऐसे ही firing मिलनी थी with the kind of nonsense they keep spewing. So please stop with this nostalgia nonsense. I think Srini is a little tied up, but I want you to take that, Gigi. Srini, Gigi, you're on mute.
There's a bit of yeah. So देखो पाक players जो है 70s के वो तो that was a different era altogether and that time ये सब हुआ नहीं था. ये जो last 10 साल में 3-4 इंसिडेंट हुए हैं ना, ये बहुत खतरनाक टेरर अटैक्स हुए हैं. And that has, and I have seen with my own this thing कि after every terror attack, I mean starting I think with Pathankot, then Uri, and the relations kept getting worse and worse and worse. You know, things kept getting worse. तो एक तो वो हुआ है जो तो ये पहले का जाके वाकई में कंपेयर करना थोड़ी फुलिशनेस है कि अरे उस जमाने में तो ऐसा था, जहीर अब्बास और गावस्कर बैठते थे, मियादात और वेंगसारकर बैठते थे. दैट वाज अ डिफरेंट एरा ऑल टुगेदर. द होल कश्मीर प्रॉब्लम हैड नॉट इवन आई मीन इट वाज फेस्टरिंग बट इट वाज नॉट एट द लेवल वेयर इट बिकेम आफ्टर 89 and 90. So like that, and then the 90s again started playing because things became better. ठीक है, but ये 2008 was the first I thought death knell for India-Pakistan cricket. You know, where such a terrible attack happened in Mumbai, and then things kept getting worse from there. I mean, things looked like getting better when we had a bilateral series with Pakistan in 2012-13. But उसके बाद में with all the attacks that happened, things kept getting worse. So I think that is, it has, and you cannot separate cricket and politics and cricket and terrorism, and वो नहीं होता है वो. It doesn't work like that. So I think that is so. इसलिए to compare it with earlier era में वैसा होता था, you cannot do that. I'm sorry. I mean, India and Pakistan collaborated to stage the World Cup in '83. Came together in '83 to stage a World Cup in '87, and they did it very well. You know,
and '96
so
as well.
Different times.
And '96 as well.
Sorry, and '96 as well. I mean, '83 was big because they actually ended the hegemony of England, and they I mean, it was a big challenge to take the World Cup out of England in the first place. But both of them united and sort of realized that they need to come together, and it was a wonderful collaborative experience. But तब तक ये नहीं हुआ था भाई जो हुआ है. I mean, last 10-12 years have been terrible, perhaps the worst in the history of the two nations, accounting for all the wars that have happened in the past. And social media has definitely made it worse. It has made it horrible. So I mean, this Naqvi thing is a classic example. Had he not tweeted that, तो शायद आधा situation वो नहीं होता जो कल रात को हुआ.
Sahil, there are a few angry questions for you, so please be prepared for it. First of all, everybody want to know one thing once again about Virat Kohli, whether he's going to Australia or not. And then Arvind Atreyas says, Sahil, will Jaiswal retire from cricket? And he's saying, Sahil, also talk about your favorite Gill and tweet about him. So आपके लिए गिल है और जीजी के लिए श्रेयस अय्यर है.
मेरे लिए सब है. मेरे लिए सारे जेंजीज आर माय फेवरेट्स. द current set of cricketers. Or Virat Kohli, yes. So Virat Kohli question has been asked far too often now. Nothing is final right now, even when it comes to Virat Kohli. मतलब इसके ऊपर मैं आपको अभी, if there was something worth writing or reporting, we would have already done that. But we can't really go on here यार. मतलब ये कोई हम यूट्यूबर बन के नहीं बैठे ना कि कुछ भी मुंह में आया बोल दिए, फिर बोलेंगे देखो हमने पहले बोल दिया, हमने बाद में बोल दिया. एक when you write something under that masthead, you need to be responsible enough to be sure of what you are writing. We are picking cues of what's happening with Virat. He's still in the UK. The last we checked, he had some training sessions in London. His fitness test reportedly was done there. And Rohit has been training at COE. Rohit wants to lead. Rohit is very desperate to continue leading India. There's no secret about that. 10,000 grams, as Abhishek Nair said, he has lost weight. So he's very much on track to prove to the men who matter that he's very much focused on playing. But as far as Virat is concerned, things are still cloudy on that front. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Some personal, some professional. So as I said, abhi bol ke I don't want to act cool by saying ki dekho, I told you first. There has to be a sense of responsibility in what we are saying. So we'll give you an update the moment we get one. There's still time. But abhi itna to I just keep repeating that that Australia wala squad अभी भी फंसा हुआ है. It is not a straightforward squad.
Sahil, so are you the chief selector or Ajit Agarkar? Because Arvind Atreyas का comment से लग रहा है you're the chief selector. You're keeping Jaiswal out.
No, I'm not keeping Jaiswal out. He's just poking me for the fact that for the story Pratyush did on Abhishek Sharma, and तब से मेरे को बहुत ट्रोलिंग हुआ प्रत्युष को हुआ कि आप जायसवाल के साथ गलत कर रहे हो. सी लॉजिक लोग समझते नहीं है, सबको लगता है हमने कोई पतंग उड़ा दी अभिषेक शर्मा की. यशस्वी जायसवाल has just played one ODI for India. Okay, he was a reserve opener. He hasn't had enough exposure in T20 internationals. Abhishek Sharma has been playing T20s for the last 2 years. He is your world number one T20 batter. He has been setting the stage on fire. If and when Rohit Sharma decides to call a day or has been asked to call a day, whatever the circumstances are, you need to keep that intent game going at top of the order. Something which Rohit Sharma himself did before 23 ODI World Cup. So who fits the bill? It's Abhishek Sharma, because Yashasvi Jaiswal, for all the khadoosness in his game and all the ability to accumulate runs at a brisk pace, Abhishek Sharma is definitely a cut above the rest right now. As far as batting in those 10-15 over period is concerned, there's a lot of logic to what we said. And it wasn't just कि पतंग उड़ी और हमने डोरी और सद्दी पकड़ लिया. ऐसा नहीं होता. So that is why that Abhishek Sharma story appeared in Times of India, where Pratyush clearly mentioned why Abhishek Sharma is a front runner to even get a call up for Australia ODIs. Now again, that will depend on how you address the Rohit Sharma situation, Virat Kohli situation. It's like a lot of pieces have to fall in place for that to happen. But there is that strong temptation to have Abhishek Sharma on that flight to Australia, because he will be going for the 5 T20s. 3 ODI में पहले दे दो, और डाल भी रहे हो तो हो सकता है आप कहीं पे सटल सिग्नल देना चाहते हो कि आप जाओगे तो हमारा ओपनर तैयार है. So a lot of things happen this way also. और ये तो आपसे बेहतर चंद्रेश कोई नहीं जानता बीसीसीआई में सिग्नल्स कैसे दिए जाते हैं.
शर्मा जी का बेटा जाएगा तो शर्मा जी का बेटा ही आएगा.
देखो,
आयुष
ये तो मैंने
जिंदाल
नहीं
का
कहा, ये तो आप कह रहे हो, फिर आपकी वही आदत है, आपने मेरे मुंह में शब्द डाल दिए, मैंने नहीं कहा ये.
अच्छा, सवाल आया फिर एक बार. आयुष जिंदाल इज इन फॉर्म टुडे. वन मोर सुपर चैट फ्रॉम आयुष जिंदाल, 100 रुपए का. भाई आप तो मतलब
अभी
दिलदार
तो
हो.
ये तो सैलरी आने वाला डे भी नहीं है यार, अभी तो 29 ही है.
क्या बात है यार. This is for Srini once again. Srini, and this is about Srini. Don't talk about handshake. It's debatable, but what Gill and Abhishek did to Afridi Haris was definitely on. As sometimes it's necessary to show reality.
They did the right thing, na. They made the bad talk. They exactly did. So वो जो पिछले वाला जो मैच था, इसमें Abhishek got some 70 odd something, right, Sahil?
Yeah,
72 या कुछ बना ना उसको. And it's the start of this game where he told the bowler to walk back, right? Kind of. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You let your bat talk. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in sport. Shut your mouth and allow your bat to talk. That's exactly what I've been saying. So you're right. I mean, thank you for your question and thank you for the 100 rupees. But that's it. Like, you just hit the nail. I mean, when you're saying that they are the ones who showed them the reality. It is necessary. It is the only thing that you need to do in sport, which is perform. That's exactly what I've been saying, right? Just cut out the antics. Let Rajiv Shukla of the world take care of the antics. ना बैठे ना, वो बीसीसीआई में बैठे ही इसलिए हैं वो, लेकिन कुछ बोलते नहीं है सामने आके, वो पीछे से. बट वो सामने आके उनको बोल लेना ना, तुम क्रिकेट खेलो यार, शुक्ला जी आके बैटिंग तो करने नहीं वाले.
and also what that innings of Abhishek had an impact. It was almost like Sanat Jayasuriya having an impact on India's 96 World Cup squad. They celebrated after getting him out early in the semi-final, but they didn't realize that there is an Arvinda De Silva to follow. Similar thing happened last night. I'm not saying that Tilak Verma is Abhishek Arvinda De Silva, but I'm just saying that all the focus was on Abhishek Sharma and his antics, and they forgot that there are batters to come later in the order.
And for the depth is so clear. I mean, that's the biggest difference between who we are and who they are. Like, depth is everything.
Yeah. Sportsman का सवाल है जीजी. Question to all: is Dubey our opening bowler now?
I don't think so. I think Hardik भी नहीं है. मुझे लगता है Arshdeep है. Because against stronger teams, you will want Arshdeep and Bumrah to be there, bowling 2 overs at the start, 2 overs at the death. I have no doubt in my mind about it. I think Hardik is also a weak link in the last 3 overs, and so is Shivam Dubey. तो क्या chance ही नहीं, definitely. I mean, in Dubai थोड़ा सा ball फंस रहा था. You could bowl those cutters and he निकल गया वो. But against better teams, he will be slaughtered, I'm sure. Having said that, I think he's working. I'm told he's working very hard on his bowling with Moni Mokel. So there's a marked improvement there, which is very good for Indian cricket, for India's T20 cricket, because if Shivam and Hardik both play, or at least like we saw yesterday, if Hardik is not available and Shivam is around in the 11 in the mix, then the whole ball game, I mean, India's balance is retained that way. So I think that way Shivam is quite crucial to India's prospects, and he has that ability to hit those big sixes and stuff. But as a bowler, I still have my doubts. I think you need Arshdeep in the mix against stronger teams, against Australia, England, South Africa. You'll want Arshdeep, and he was one of your big reasons why you won the T20 World Cup. So even if it means going a bowler, going a batter short, like yesterday we had a batter more, right, and we have a bowler short, and we were banking on Abhishek and Shivam to fulfill that fifth bowler's quota. I mean, Shivam bowled very well. 3 overs, none for 23, including 2 overs, none for 12 in the power play. So like that, when Fakhar Zaman and Saibzada Farman were batting very well, Pakistan's openers. So, but again, still I feel that against more, a Travis Head, for example, or the typical, the English openers, I think both of them, Hardik and this one, will be cannon fodder, Shivam Dubey. So you'll need to bank on and Arshdeep has the ability to generate swing and get wickets with the new ball, as well as be extremely effective at the death.
Okay, Shubham Garg, and this is the final super chat of the day. He says 100 rupees super chat, and this for Sahil. He says, Naqvi, like Monday, India को न्यूक्लियर की धमकी, Tuesday, India is cheater, Wednesday, jet post, फिर Sunday मुझसे ट्रॉफी लो. He needs to wear single hat.
नहीं हो सकता ना, ये दुग्गल साहब है. ये मंडे को प्लम्बर है, ट्यूसडे को इलेक्ट्रिशियन है, वेडनेसडे को डॉक्टर है. तो अभी नकवी साहब का क्या, आई डोंट नो, लाइक some strong action needs to be taken. You're representing a body which is, as I said, forms like not just one country. You're representing a continent right now. I'm sure the way he's going right now, he'll be harboring hopes and ambitions of leading the ICC sometime in the future, the way he's going about it. So ऐसे लोगों को you need to like give a solid reality check and remind them that this is not a playground. You're not doing things you can't do things the way you want and the way you like. थोड़ा checks and balance life के अंदर नहीं हुआ तो फिर चीजें खराब हो जाती हैं. And this is applicable everywhere. मतलब
and the thing is that उनके Twitter bio में लिखा है journalism is his first love.
Journalism is his first love.
Yeah, because he used to be journalist. He also owns a team.
तो राजीव शुक्ला भी थे, पर राजीव शुक्ला तो ऐसी हरकतें नहीं करते. और तो एकदम, he's like, with all due respect, like you wouldn't see Rajiv Shukla doing such things, right? He kind of speaks, he talks, he's media friendly, but he carries that sense of responsibility as well. The way he's talking, ऐसा कोई loose remark नहीं मिलेगा. And we all remember Rajiv Shukla and Roger Binny did visit Pakistan during the Champions Trophy, if I'm not wrong. Yes, during the Champions Trophy. So वहां जाके भी ऐसा नहीं था राजीव शुक्ला को बख्श दिया गया था. वहां उनको भी चाय पिला के एक घेरे में लिया गया था और 7-8 पाकिस्तान जर्नलिस्ट ने पूरा one after the other missiles fire किए questions के उनकी तरफ. But I think he handled it very gracefully and very calmly, showing that why you need that administration and politician का heady cocktail to tackle situations like this. And I hope Mohsin Naqvi at least learns from Mr. Shukla on how to go about these things.
Absolutely. कब तक आएगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया ODI squad, Sahil? Any idea?
I think 1 week. I think after the first test, possible after the first test. Should, because some players have been alerted already who are a sure shot in both squads, because you need to get the visa formalities and stuff sorted. क्योंकि इस बार we need to be mindful of the fact कि नई jerseys use होने वाली हैं. So उस सब का printing, sponsorship, placements, all that has already started as far as the logistic arrangements are concerned. So आपको मतलब अभी वो एक temptation रहेगा ना. वो I was speaking to KSR on this and he mentioned that there's a new jersey sponsor right from the Australia series. So whether that's Bumrah, whether that's Rohit, whether that's Virat, Apollo Tyres are paying top dollar right now. Even
you're forgetting
they're paying 10% more than Dream 11 were.
You're forgetting that it starts from the Women's World Cup tomorrow.
Yes, Women's World Cup. My bad.
This is the problem with you. This is the problem with you. Anyways,
convenient cricket journalists like us.
Srini, last question for you. A lot of talk about your tweet yesterday about new T20 captain. Is that your hunch or is that your information?
I didn't talk about new T20 captain. I said there needs to be a change in T20 captaincy. I said this is again very personal view of mine. I've said this very clearly. I don't track, whether there will be a change in T20 captaincy. That Gaurav Gupta or a Sahil Malhotra will be able to tell you better, because these guys track cricket on a daily basis, 24/7. As somebody who's watching the game, as somebody who likes to watch cricket, my simple view is we need freshness. We need freshness going forward. We need somebody who's more involved with the game. But that's my personal view. Let this not be. It was a very personal view that India needs to have a new T20 captain.
Okay, and final comment is from Priyanshu, is for Gigi. He says, Gigi covers women's cricket passionately. This is a compliment for you. So we have a fan club developing for all our guys over here. The biggest fan club is obviously for Dwaipan Datta. He's missed today, but hopefully.
Dwaipan Datta is on a holiday. He'll join us soon. He'll join us.
वो कौन है जो उसको बीसीसीआई प्रेसिडेंट बनाने के लिए बोलता है बार-बार कि बीसीसीआई प्रेसिडेंट?
अरे है भाई, बहुत सारे पेटिशन चालू हो रहा है. और वो श्रीनी का पर्सनल ओपिनियन को मैं थोड़ा आगे लेकर जा रहा हूँ. आप मेरा 4 हफ्ते पुराना कमेंट भूल रहे हो चंद्रेश. मैंने आपको 4 हफ्ते पहले बोल दिया था शुभमन गिल विल लीड इंडिया इन टी20 वर्ल्ड कप. और दोबारा रील बना लो इसका. आप ये यूट्यूबर वाला क्लेम नहीं है, ये बोल रहे हैं, आपको ठोक के बोल रहे हैं. कैप्टनसी चेंज होगा.
Gigi, you are on mute. Man ki baat.
One thing I know is that before the Asia Cup, Surya was told that he needs some runs under his belt. He needs to focus on that. I mean, he was involved in the selection and everything, and so he was told that okay, it's good that you are showing interest in sort of क्या टीम आपको बनानी है क्या है, but your focus has to be on regaining form in international cricket. So ऐसा नहीं है कि selectors are not concerned about it. They are concerned about it. कल आप जीत गए, इसलिए सब आपका वो हो गया, sort of under the carpet निकल गया. ठीक है ना? ये अगर आप हार जाते हैं मैच, but for some of the way Pakistan collapsed and the way Haris Rauf started bowling absolutely mindlessly on both sides of the wicket, much to the sort of discontent of his team's head coach Mike Hesson. तो आप अगर मैच हार जाते तो वो ट्रबल होता बहुत ज्यादा for Sky, and a lot of heavy criticism would have been directed towards him. Right now he's the toast of the media, toast of the nation, but जो क्रिकेट जानते हैं, फॉलो करते समझते हैं, वो they recognize the fact that Sky needs to get back runs amongst runs, and it remains to be seen how long that rope will be to the. Now there's a new selection committee also, so I think I and Sahil we need to start sort of making those calls and again scratch से दोबारा बनाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अब 2 बंदे वहां पर नए आ चुके हैं और 2 बंदे पुराने जा चुके हैं. ठीक है ना? तो अभी we need to sort of
सूत्रों के हवाले
scratch in building those bridges, and
तो आपको स्वैग से फिर से स्वागत करना पड़ेगा उनका.
हाँ,
स्वैग से स्वागत करना.
जस्ट लास्ट अंडर करंट एक जीजी की लाइन के ऊपर जीजी ने बोला सिलेक्शन में इन्वॉल्व थे सिवाय उप कप्तान के सब पता था टीम में कौन आने वाला है, क्योंकि वो सबके लिए गूगली था. तो ये इंडियन क्रिकेट एक बागवान है, हर दिन नया रंग आता है.
True that.
Srini, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Sorry, suddenly I had to reply to some emails. So okay, captaincy again. It's my personal view. See, you have to take a call. Abhi, people have this. I on Twitter only I keep people asking me questions. कि ODI में क्या होने वाला है? Will there be a captaincy change in ODI? So for that, the question is not about whether ODI setup needs a change in captaincy or not. That's not the question. The question is, are you convinced that your current captain will last until 2027? That is the question. If you feel that your current captain can last until 2027, then he is one of the greatest ODI cricketers ever. Why should I change him? Why should I change him? देखो, रोहित शर्मा से बड़ा क्रिकेटर तो दिखता नहीं है ओडीआई में. विराट कोहली और रोहित शर्मा से बड़े तो कोई है नहीं. तो अगर मेरे पास उनके सर्विसेज अवेलेबल हैं तो मैं उनको क्यों नहीं कैप्टन रखूंगा. बट क्वेश्चन ये है कि क्या वो 2027 तक खेल सकते हैं. अभी मैंने कहीं कुछ आई रेड अ हेडलाइन which said that he had lost 10,000 grams. Am I right? Because Abhishek Nair
10,000 grams. Yes, 10,000 grams.
I mean, personally, I felt it was a bit funny when he said 10,000 grams because वो बोलने वाले ने भी सोचा होगा यार मैं 1-2 किलो बोलूंगा तो कितना कम लगेगा ना 10,000 ग्राम बोलता हूँ कम से कम बड़ा तो लगेगा you know तो ये लाइक मैं बोलूंगा यार 8-10 किलो से क्या होता है 10,000 grams तो I felt it was a bit funny but having said that if we can answer that question look at what happened in T20 in 2023 until then Rohit and Virat both were actually out of the T20 circuit both were out of T20 cricket in 2022 what did BCCI do in 2023 suddenly they woke up from their sleep woke up from their slumber and said no Rohit and Virat will play the T20 World Cup suddenly they were back right I'm not saying correct decision wrong decision whatever one decision तो टुडे बीसीसीआई नहीं कर सकता कल नींद से जागेगा बोलेगा नहीं नहीं इनको ही खिलाना है तो आप पहले ये असर्टेन करो कि वो खेल सकते हैं या नहीं खेल सकते द रिमेनिंग पीसेस विल फॉल इन प्लेस ऑटोमेटिकली आपको ऑटोमेटिकली आंसर्स मिलने शुरू हो जाएंगे अगर आपका पर्सपेक्टिव क्लियर हो तो यहाँ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि पर्सपेक्टिव नहीं है तो फिर आंसर्स कहाँ से मिलेंगे
Bilkul. Last comment is on Gigi, and this comes from Introspect. He has an advice for you. He says, Gigi, don't let out your sources so easily. On that note, thanks a lot.
No, Chandresh bhai, there's a super chat.
There's one more super chat. Oh, we have to take this.
This is in pounds. It looks like someone.
This is in pounds, so we have to take this from Rishabh Sharma. 2 pound question. He says, Srini ने कोई नया शॉप का बिजनेस खोला है क्या?
Because of all this?
Yeah.
अरे नहीं यार.
And you're constantly on phone ना?
हाँ वो है. I'm so sorry. Continuously calls keep coming. But
ये pound में तो जवाब देना पड़ेगा.
I'm sitting in a coffee shop. Yeah, I was in a crowded place, so I wanted a quiet place where I could take this call. So yeah, that's it.
250 रुपए का सवाल था मतलब in a way.
शॉप का कोई नया शॉप का बिजनेस खोला है क्या? नहीं भाई, मैंने कोई शॉप का बिजनेस नहीं खोला है. कॉफी शॉप में बैठा हूँ और आपके क्वेश्चन ले रहा हूँ. और मतलब बहुत लोगों को बहुत सारी चीजें लगती है कि मैं मैं सडनली इंडियन टीम पे क्यों नहीं बात करता हूँ या मैं कई बार सवालों के जवाब नहीं देता हूँ बिकॉज वो सो आई डोंट रिपोर्ट cricket on a 24/7 basis the way I was doing it. That is why I am not tracking everything. So, for example, मुझे अगर कुछ जानना होता है कि भाई कल रात को ग्राउंड पे क्या हुआ वगैरह, तो I will call a Sahil Malhotra or a Gaurav Gupta. Yeah, we have a wonderful correspondent in UAE, Pratyush Raj. I उसको भी फॉलो करना चाहिए, शो पे लेके आना चाहिए. Brilliant reporter. So ये लोग हैं जिनको पता है बॉस कि what is happening on a regular basis. I mean, when I tweet or something, I just tweet a personal opinion. It's not like I have any inside knowledge.
Okay, on that note, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot, Srini. Thanks a lot, Sahil. Thanks a lot, Gigi, for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. The Women's World Cup starts tomorrow. Right after the show, you'll be able to see the press conference where the Indian and Pakistani journalists had a fight. And what happened in that press conference. In both press conferences, there was tamasha. And we'll get to see right here on the TOI Sports channel. Remember, you can like, share, and subscribe and comment on all our videos and be part of our conversation. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Till then, take good care of yourselves. It's goodbye and God bless.